Hello, welcome back to 61 Minutes, presented by Doritos for the Bold. I'm your host, Samuel Davidson. Today we'll be discussing 3 different stories. We will first talk about the leading scientists of NASA discovering the future of space. And on top of that, we will also be talking about LeBron James and his latest championship in Los Angeles. Now, first story we have today, we have the special CBS exclusive interview from the CEO of Staples, Mr. Malcolm Wallace. He is very special. Wallace has been the CEO for 20 years, and we'll hear his legendary rise to power from his perspective for the very first time, exclusively here, right now. Don't leave, it's happening.
So tell me, Mr. Wallace, you are the son of the previous CEO of Staples, your father, David. Doesn't it seem like the obvious choice that you would be the one to replace him?
Yeah, definitely. That's a question I ask myself a lot. Why do so many lives have to be lost over just a job? And from what I remember, it started at the annual finance meeting for the Staples. We had a lot of branch managers there, Robert, Michael, myself, my father. And at one point, I remember my father congratulating everyone.
He seemed like the classic corporate success story. Why wasn't he chosen?
Well, my father had always said that the company would run the family and that it would stay in the family. So I always figured that Staples would be passed on to me. After the meeting, I went up to my dad and asked him, it is going to stay in the family, right? That's still going to happen. That's still my company. And he assured me of this. However, he assured me a little too loudly.
But Michael ended up being CEO. Why?
That's the part I'm getting to. That's the interesting part. Michael was enraged that he didn't get the position of CEO. Everyone thought he was going to be. He did, all his colleagues did. He was very popular with them. And he had risen fast and was a very big success in the company. So everyone thought he was going to get the position. He also needed the position. He had just had a kidney that was having some issues, and he needed some treatment for that.
He ended up treating his kidney, but not with the normal procedure, right?
That's right. His wife had found some pills, and she thought that they might treat his kidney. However, they had some serious side effects for him, and in the long term, it was his demise.
Addicted, right?
That's right. He was never the same afterwards.
Wow, that's absolutely tragic.
Yeah, it was tough. He began to hallucinate frequently, and he would always come up to me and grab me and say, I hear the voices. He's always talking about the voices. I remember one day, he came up to me, laughing hysterically.
The voices, they told me a prophecy. They said, all hail thee, Michael, manager of Staples. They said, all hail thee, Michael, regional manager of Staples. All hail Michael. He should be CEO thereafter.
That's not right. My father's the CEO, and he said I would be his replacement.
No, the voices, I swear they told me this.
At that point, had he gone off the edge? I remember him spiraling out of control.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely the turning point for him. And afterwards, he just never seemed the same. He was always this demonic person I was always scared of and worried for, really, because, how much I loved him. But it was tough to see that.
I know this is a hard topic for you to talk about, but what happened that night your father was murdered?
Yeah, I'll never forget. It was a tough night. I remember I had been sleeping in a room right next to him, and the killer had walked into my room by mistake. And, I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry, but I never heard him come into my room. I never realized that he was just looking for my father, looking to stab him to death. And then he came creeping through the hallways into my room by mistake, and into my father's room. He stabbed him.
From what I've read, you were a prime suspect. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess because my father was the CEO and I was ready to be the replacement CEO, that everyone thought that I had some motive to kill him. Obviously I didn't, and it was a very painful time in my life to be trying to prove my innocence in front of the whole world, and additionally trying to grieve inside for my father.
So why didn't you stay and clear your name?
I don't know, to be honest. I wasn't really thinking at the time. I was grieving for my father, and I was just scared. I wanted to get out of there, so I ran.
But because you were the prime suspect, the board didn't choose you as the next CEO.
That's right, they chose Michael, the second highest employee.
The board of Staples has voted to elect Michael as the new CEO of the company.
Want to try out my time machine? It runs on Doritos.
Sure. So now what?
Gotta put the whole bag in.
Okay.
Yes.
It's really working, Jimmy! This is the greatest moment of my life!
Get out of my yard!
Jimmy? You're so old.
Welcome back to 61 Minutes, sponsored by Doritos for the Bold. So due to some California fires, we had to relocate, but now we are here with Malcolm Wallace and his story of how he rose to CEO in the company of Staples. Would you like to expand?
That's right. Yeah, thank you. So right where we left off, Michael had become the CEO of Staples. We all knew that this was going to be bad news for the company. His drug addiction had completely ruined his life, and his life had just gone off the edge. This was when Robert California was killed.
And you believe Michael was responsible for his friend's death?
100%, but I guess we'll never know for sure. But knowing him, he probably hired a hitman to take him out or something like that, so the blood wouldn't be on his hands. And then what happened next is what really turned it from an internal struggle into a significant issue.
I'm assuming you're talking about the corporate meeting when Michael freaked out in front of all of his employees.
Exactly. That was really a turning point for me, and I knew I had to do something after that. So it was the annual budget meeting, and we had all entered, and the employees, everyone I think, could feel in the air something was off, something was going wrong. And Michael was sitting at the head of the table, and he was leading the meeting all right, but at one point he just came out screaming that the ghost of Robert was sitting in one of the chairs. And he honestly thought that Robert was sitting there. We obviously all didn't see anything, but he thought he was sitting right there, and it was insane seeing him ravaging across the table, trying to get at this thing that we couldn't even see that he thought was there. And all the employees ran out of the building knowing that something was wrong. We didn't want to be there. That was a very scary moment for all of us. And I think it was definitely a turning point for all of us. And I knew I had to do something, so I talked with one of our employees, Stanley Hudson, and we made a plan of what we'd do next.
So what happened when he saw you were approaching him?
Well, he tried to run, but we had him cornered, and I tried to plead with him to cooperate with us, but the drugs had taken over. I remember he reached back and grabbed a knife off the kitchen counter. He charged, and we had to say, hey, just wait a second. And it reminded me of the cop shows, where they have the guy about to jump or about to kill someone. And it was in real life, though. It was so scary. And I just did it in self-defense. People ask me if killing Michael still haunts me, and of course it does. It's something I regret and wish wouldn't have happened every day of my life, but what's done is done.
What were his last words? Did he try to tell you anything, or?
I remember he reached up and pulled me down to him and whispered lines from Shakespeare's Macbeth. He said, "It's a tale, told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing."
Wow, what a powerful interview from Malcolm Wallace. That story's incredible. The last words, amazing. Now, we'll get to hear from top NASA scientists about the possibility of commercial space travel, something never seen or even heard of before. Right after this quick message from your local station. I've been your host, Samuel Davidson. Have a great evening.